Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hello, hello.
We are
Cesar and Pam with cesarandpam.com.
Don't sell your soul, your family, or your health to grow your business. It is not by sacrificing your family and your life that you can grow your business, but it's by being a faithful steward, administrator of the resources God has given you. So we're going to teach you how to do both here. And today we're going to talk about a question somebody asked us. If you have your own business and you're trying to build a business, including your family, what does that look like? Okay, number one. So I'm going to translate because it was in Spanish, but something like this. So we're doing our business in worldventures business, which is the company that we're with in Mexico, and we decided to do it as a family. We're all getting ready together. We're all studying, looking for prospects, presenting. My kids, one of them is 18 years old. The other one is 16 years old. A girl, and then I think it's been a wonderful decision because they're changing and having a different mindset, becoming entrepreneurs, leaders, but we want to do it right. We want to know how to guide them, how to lead them. And además de no sabemos hacer unas relaciones. So we don't know what to do about their studies, right? Should they go to college? We see that high school and college is not really what they want to do, because they see the mediocre levels that are being offered at the schools where they could potentially go, because they're being trained to be employees and not entrepreneurs or leaders. So what's your advice? And thank you so much for your great advice for business and for life. So that's a good question, huh, honey?
Yeah, I think we made the decision to homeschool because we didn't want to have to do everything inside the box, the way everyone else was doing it. And we wanted to build that relationship with our kids. So homeschooling is one answer. When it comes to high school, they have so many more options. And you were talking about the verse in the Bible that train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he won't depart from it. And that there are two different ways that is interpreted. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So that scripture talks about train up a child in the way he should go, and even though when he's old, he will not depart from it. So one interpretation is if you train him in certain habits, certain mindsets, certain behaviors, they will keep them the rest of their life. You can help mold who they are. But also number two, if a child has a certain bent and you can reinforce it, they will become even more cemented in that trail that they're blazing.
Right, because there's kids that love math, and they're really good at it, or science, and that's what they crave more and more and more. There's kids that don't. They're into the literature and history and philosophy, and so they're bent, and so high school is a great time because we really believe they're already becoming adults. We've talked about that, the teenage years, they're wanting to become their own person. And so a lot of times you have a lot more freedom for them to pursue what they're really into if you homeschool. And if you don't homeschool, you have to just look for those opportunities. I think there are more opportunities from what I've seen or heard from the kids' friends from church that go to school, where they are able to really pursue already in high school things that they're interested in. At least here in the United States, it's not all cookie cutter. So I think that's a great thing, just encouraging them, that they don't have to be like everyone else. And what is it that you're passionate about, helping them find that.
That's excellent. And I think one mistake that we made, especially me, when we joined the business, we've been in this business for 7 years almost. It's been 7 years. I had a lot of mental, cobwebs? I had a lot of mental blocks because we had done network marketing in Mexico. We lived there for 8 years. We were in the Amway business. It was a great company. I learned how to sell in that company. But after we were not able to succeed and we moved back to the US, to the Dallas area, our hearts were broken because I thought I was going to make it big and it never happened. But I was grateful for what I've learned. But I thought I never want to do this network marketing business ever again because it was hard to dream so high and then not be able to achieve it. So then when they came to us offering us this network marketing concept again in the travel industry. This time was very appealing because we love to travel, and we thought it would go really well. Bless you. With what we believe, which is spend quality time with the people you love. But when we joined, you thought that we're going to do it for sure. And in reality, I was not that sure. And people knew that. I mean, it's like, just like a dog smells fear, our kids, they smell if you don't believe in it. So we were in the business, but really they were like watching like, And I'll be honest with you, one big downfall in my character that I have to work on is I can have a very critical mind. It can be good in some areas, but it can be very bad in other areas where I'm too critical, I'm too negative, I could be too cynical. In my older kids, I think kind of read that. And that I wasn't really in it 100%, even when I joined, because they felt like, they didn't say this, but I bet they were thinking now, looking back, like, wait a second, you said those kind of businesses you weren't sure about it, but now you're in it again. Why? And before, so I don't forget, we're going to give you the 3 areas that you're going to need to work on. These are the 3 areas that we're continuously working on. And number 1 is discipline. Develop discipline in your kids, your children, and your teenagers. Number 2, communication and relationships. There's no doubt that it's very different to raise a 2, 3, 4-year-old than a 16, 17-year-old or a 12, 13-year-old. And we have 6 kids, so we've had all the different ages, and we've made all the mistakes in all different ages. And number 3, help them to think out of the box, like you said. All right, so we're kind of all over the place already, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an introduction of, I think, we wanted to do that, to work the business as a family. But even when we talked about the subject, you were like, we're going to talk about that. We're not that good at that. Well, we've made a lot of mistakes, and I think that's given us a deeper insight. So we want to encourage you through these 3 points that we're going to touch in the next few minutes.
Yeah, well, and I think sometimes we think that what makes us successful is if our kids were doing exactly what we're doing. And that's not true. You know, they're going to find their own way. I think creating disciplines like the discipline of reading, you know, that they would love to read, that they would be wanting to investigate and grow as a person, creating those habits from the time they're young, doing that together. You know, we're talking about how to do that more with our 11 and 13-year-old books that help you, that are personal growth books, you know, help motivate you. So
like these ones, The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yeah, so he's got a couple copies so that he can read them together with the kids. So I think it starts with things like that. Creating good habits, just of work, a work ethic, that work is good, you know, and that we could work together and then we get to play together. We get rewards. I think that, like you said, it's not just go clean, you know, it's like, no, let's have a project that we work on hard together, that they see that we are sweating, that we're doing it too. And then afterwards, you know, we go swimming or we get ice cream, that they see that there's a reward to hard work and that we can work together. So it's not just jump into, okay, we're going to work a business together when they're older, but start from the time they're little, like the projects that you have around the house, working as a family. I think that's something that we can do better at, you know?
Yeah, and I think the foundation for this discipline, point number 1, is it's ideal if you can homeschool. Now a lot of people were forced to homeschool during this quarantine, but I think for us, not a lot changed really in our lifestyle, because we have been homeschooling for over 20 years now, right? This is Natalia, 20 years, yeah. So work with them together, like you said, and that's, I think, I failed a lot to being too hard on them when they're young, and then as they get older, expecting perfection. Expecting for them to do it as much as I wanted to do it and pushing them too hard, that kind of damage a relationship that we have to work, and we have to continue working at restoring right now. But developing that discipline by homeschooling, you just have more opportunities to work together when you are more time together.
Yeah.
And not just working, but working on character situations, right? The good thing about homeschooling is It's not just academic. It's if you're working on some academic thing or working on the house on some chore and there's a problem, you can pause and work in that situation, solve a problem, teach them by example how to offer an apology, how to ask for forgiveness, how to make an appeal,